Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of Vol Club Confidential. We have reached the month of March. I'm your host, Austin Price. Tennessee basketball revving up for the SEC basketball tournament. Tennessee baseball underway and in the middle of a nice long home swing. We'll talk about a lot of that tonight on the show, and we'll be joined by Tennessee basketball guard Tyreke Key. That's a little bit later, but before we get to that, we bring in Will Watkins of the Volunteer Club. Will, the SEC basketball tournament's next week. You all will have a presence there, kind of break us down what to expect for all those Vol Club members.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think at this point everybody knows where the Vols go, we go. So we don't know exactly what our presence is going to look like, but if you aren't sure yet, check your email, check our socials, because we'll be putting that out there. So look for us in Nashville again. Where the Vols go, we go.
When you look at, kind of the sponsorships you all have, kind of in partnerships you've attained the first couple of years with the Volunteer Club, some nice solid ads, but I know you all want to get more corporate partners going forward. How important is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's huge. Obviously, with the fan support and everything that we've been able to do, we put on some great events. People have had a lot of fun, gotten to meet some athletes, so that's been great. But one thing that we want to kind of do now as we're transitioning to the next stage of this is kind of get more into that corporate partnership. So really start to tell those stories and partner athletes with brands in the community so that we can help small businesses in the Knoxville area.
When you say small, are we talking mom and pops? Are we talking like mid-level businesses? Or is it just kind of a balance of everything?
I think it's everything. I think everybody has an opportunity to benefit in the NIL world. So, one of the things that we talk about all the time with different corporate sponsors is that there's a level for everybody. There's a barrier of entry that every business can benefit from. And so we want to utilize these Tennessee athletes and give them to local businesses across the state of Tennessee so they can have an impact and they can kind of benefit from the new name, image, likeness laws.
All right, let's bring in the star of the show, that being Tennessee native and Tennessee guard, Tyree Key. Tyree, from Clay County, what's Tennessee basketball mean to you?
I think it means everything to me. Obviously, I came from like a very small town. Like I said, basketball is real big there where I'm from. So just growing up, really just basketball has always kind of been a passion of mine. And like I said, it's real big where we're from. So
you go to Indiana State coming out of high school, and this was coming off a unbelievable run at the high school level, scored a ton of points, and go to the state tournament and have all those big games, state titles and stuff. Kind of take me through what you're thinking as you head off to Indiana State.
I think the biggest thing for me was just kind of adjusting my play to the college level, obviously, because obviously it was two different levels. And like I said, I think for the most part, I've done a good job there. I had a pretty good career. And like I said, I just worked hard every day at it and just chipped away.
When you decided to play your last year somewhere else and Tennessee was an option, was that a no-brainer for you?
I mean, yeah, it pretty much was a no-brainer for me. Obviously, being at Indiana State, I was like 5 hours away from home, so it was tough to ever really come back home. It was a tough drive for my mom every game. So I think obviously it made sense, and like I said, I couldn't be more happy to be here.
So a few weeks ago, you go to Vanderbilt, and the coaches are imploring you to shoot more and shoot more. And you have 10 points in the first half, you have 14 for the game. Come back home, you have 21 in the second half. Those were both losses, but I said at the time that Sunday night on TV to Josiah, I thought you could really take positives out of that if you're Rick Barnes, because all of a sudden you started to get confidence. Was it just simply going back to the Middle Tennessee area, and it was just like, it's like the state tournament again, and all of a sudden the ball starts going in, and you're like, wait a minute.
I mean, that could have been it, but I think really it's just, Coach Barnes, that's why he brought me here, was to score. And I think a couple practices before the Vanderbilt game, he pulled me to the side and was just like, this is why we brought you here. Stop passing up open looks and just go out there and play your game. So, like I said, he just pulled me to the side and told me that. And like I said, ever since then, I've just been kind of chipping away at it.
So you look at kind of where you were early in the year. You had and these weren't even real games. They were the scrimmages with Michigan State and Gonzaga. Especially that Gonzaga when you put up 27. What happened there between when you started to get the confidence back and shooting the ball more and early in the year? Was it just kind of like you're new to the scene, you didn't want it to you don't want to be selfish type stuff?
I think it was just obviously I started a different role. I started playing more point guard, and I was kind of just facilitating first and trying to just run the offense. Like I said, I think that kind of played a role in it, and I think really just sometimes I was just really passive when I shouldn't have been. I should have took shots when I was open, and like I said, Coach Barnes pulled me to the side and just told me to just go out there and play and just do me. So
we get into March, and listen, there's been plenty of times where Tennessee was hot in January and February and then kind of cooled off. You have that rough stretch in February where you lose on a couple of buzzer beaters and you lose the game to Kentucky you probably shouldn't have. But none of that matters because, if you win in March, nobody cares what you did in January and February. Yeah. So how much do you have to have that mindset as we head into the SEC tournament and as we head into the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think the first thing, you just got to take it day by day and just get better each day. And like I said, you can't – it's hard. Obviously you're going to have those games, like 2 buzzer beaters. That's obviously tough. But, we kind of got to learn from, the mistakes we did make in those games that we lost and learn from those. And obviously when we get into March, have those mistakes corrected.
You go back to your high school year, your senior year, your high school career, averaged 37.4 your senior year, over 1,300 points. When you walked on the floor, was it just kind of like, I'm the best guy here, and is it just kind of how you felt back then?
I'm kind of a humble guy, so I didn't really see it that way. But I think, like I said, I just was trying to go out there and just compete and win, and like I said, just make my team better and just provide winning games. So
you're playing single A basketball, small gyms, but really good atmospheres. How much did you? It's kind of like Friday night football. As cool as college is, NFL, there's a special place for high school football. Same thing with high school basketball for you. Just kind of no matter what you do the rest of your life, those moments will be special.
Oh yeah, I think, like I said, obviously you go in those small places and if gym's packed, a seat to sit in those gyms, obviously. I'll never forget those memories, obviously, just because I was obviously out there with my best friends and stuff. And like I said, we bring those memories up occasionally. But like I said, it was always fun just going to those little crackerbox gyms and just being so loud in there. It was always fun.
Did you like being the road team on those instances?
Yeah, we actually did. We really enjoyed playing on the road because obviously teams was trying to take me out. So it was I may have 2 people guard me here and there and just
boxing
one. So different things like that. It was fun and we always had fun. So,
what defense did you hate to see coming?
Well, I still scored regardless, so it really wasn't in high school. There really wasn't no defense. I was still finding ways. We had a bunch of plays set up to where I was still kind of getting the ball. So
that's confidence right there, man. It didn't matter what they threw at me, I was scoring. You talk about your best friends, your high school classmates and teammates. How many of them have reached out to you, throughout this season, whether it be for encouragement or just to kind of see how you're doing or to say, hey, we're coming to watch you play? How much do you hear that?
Yeah, I still talk to one of my best friends every day, and we play Xbox occasionally. And like I said, I actually went and seen him a couple of weeks ago, and like I said, but it's nice just having that support system and still having them around to talk to here and there. And like I said, one of my best friends, he actually comes to mostly all the home games, so it's good to have that support.
Was it easier to transition here because there was so many veterans on this team? Santi, Urosh, Josiah. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you were coming in here with a bunch of young pups. There were older guys here. Did that make the transition easier because there were guys your age?
Yeah, I actually think so. Just like I said, we got a very mature team, and the culture here at Tennessee is so strong and so connected. Like I said, I thought the transition was really easy from that standpoint. Just like I said, just a bunch of mature guys, and everyone's for each other. So I think that's really what drew me in here.
You go back to that second half of that Missouri game, and you hit 5 threes, 21 points. Was that the hottest you've been since when?
Probably since the Gonzaga game. Like I said, I knew coming out in the half of that game, obviously we needed a spark because we was down at half against Missouri. So I knew we needed a spark some way, and like I said, I just got some shots to go in. So,
how many shots do you think you put up in a given off season, whether it be at Indiana State here? Like Jalen Hyatt was talking about how he caught like 15,000 balls on the jug machines. How many shots you putting up in a given off season?
I mean, that's tough. I mean, sometimes you do 1,000 a day. I mean, if you do that, 6-7 times a week, I mean, that's the number right there.
Yeah.
You do that a whole off season, the number adds up. So I don't really keep track, but
if you're in a funk and the ball's not going in, do you just keep shooting to shoot your way out, or do you pause, let's take a break, clear my mind, then come back to it? Well, I mean, I know you could do either one, but is there a preference for Tyree Key?
I think my preference is just kind of keep the volume going and just not really think and stop thinking about it and just keep shooting it. That's kind of my preference. Like when I'm working out, I'll tell my rebounder to just keep passing it like faster, so that way I'll get the shots up, so I don't have to think about it as much.
Do you go back and watch film to see as far as like elbow, like technical stuff? Or
I used to when I had my shoulder injury. I would do that type of stuff, but I kind of got away from that and just stopped thinking and just go out there and just shoot and just have fun.
I always joke that you look like John Starks and you look like you should have played in like the 80s and 90s. When you watched players growing up, and I know you're not that old, but at the same time, I mean, like, was there one or two players that you watched growing up where you're like, I really want to model my game after that person?
I think some of my favorite players, Carmelo Anthony, because he's got the good mid-range game. I always liked that. I really liked watching John Wall growing up when he was at Kentucky. Just kind of a bigger built guard and just fast. But for mostly part, I don't really model my game after no specific player or anything. I just kind of, do what I can know my body can do, and just, like I said, I'm not the most athletic guy out there, but I'm kind of a bigger guard, so I kind of use my physicality in different ways.
When you're with your teammates or your friends, and you're talking about the NBA, what do you guys talk about? I don't even mean like trying to get there. I'm just talking about like today's NBA, favorite teams, favorite players. Not arguments, but like disagreements about who the best player is, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest one is obviously the Michael Jordan, LeBron. Those arguments always kind of get sparked up. Anyway.
Go ahead, tell me. Who you going with?
I mean, I think, like I said, two different eras, but I mean, I think LeBron now, just because he's got the all-time scoring record and just how long he's been able to produce, and obviously still getting better at this age and still putting up the numbers he is. I mean, it's one of a kind. So
yeah, we have this conversation a few times on Ball Club Confidential, because I think all athletes, no matter if you're a football player, baseball player, basketball player, we'll get into that just because Jordan's such a cultural icon with the shoe brand and all that. I think it's okay to say best overall player could be LeBron.
Yeah.
Best champion, most fierce competitor player is Jordan.
Yeah, for sure.
More cutthroat than LeBron is. So I mean, I'm with you on that. Closest player on this team. You've only been here for 8-9 months. But if you could take one guy and say I can lean on that guy, who's Mr. Dependable for you?
As just an aspects of anything or
anything.
I would say he's a Kai Ziegler, just because, like I said, he's a good dude and tough as nails. Like I say, I'd say him for sure, probably.
Do you give him a hard time about his New York accent, and he gives you a hard time about your Clay County accent?
No, we've actually never really talked about either one of our accents. Yeah, believe it or not, we've never really brought our accents up to each other. So he does have a deep accent, though. Nobody expects it either. So
most competitive guy on the team is Z.
Yeah, I'd say Z or Santi, probably. But
if you could only pick one to go in the foxhole with, who are you going in with?
That's a tough one. Probably Z. Probably. I'd probably for sure Z.
Santi just said bad words in Spanish. When you look at Coach Barnes and his track record of getting players developed, whether it's changing Kevin Punter's shot or changing Josiah's shot, or getting someone who is struggling confidence wise and getting them to play more confidently, what do you admire the most, and how much has he helped you?
I think just like I said, just how he kind of controls the team and how he talks to the guys. I think, like I said, that one day he pulled me to the side and just told me just be me and just go out there and just do what I do, and then he just wanted me to score. Did you feel differently as soon as he said that? I did, actually. I mean, I think it kind of brought a level of. I've always had confidence, obviously, but it kind of lifts
different.
you. Yeah, it's kind of different.
Like the shackles off?
Yeah, it's kind of something like that. Just kind of knowing that he said that, like he needs me, he wants me to do me and just go out there and just do what I do best. And I think that really helped me. So. Coach
Barnes is one that does not mince words. He tells you how he feels. Mm. Do you like that you kind of always know where you stand?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's honestly the best way to do it, just to be straight up and straightforward, straight to the point. Obviously, he's going to tell you how it is, and he's going to let you know and be honest with you. I think that's the best coaching you can have, when you have somebody who's just going to tell you how it is and tell you what you need to get better at. You were talking about Carmelo Anthony a few minutes ago, and you were talking about his mid-range game. It feels like you're really comfortable in that 16, 17-foot range. Mm. Most kids don't like that. I mean, most kids are either want to dunk it or shoot the three. Yeah. Where's that come from? I think it just comes from when I was at Indiana State. One of our player development coaches, he was really big into the mid-range game. Obviously now the mid-range game ain't really a thing anymore. I mean, it's
it's not.
Yeah, I mean, one or two players,
Steph Curry, or
one or two players kind of has those roles where they can shoot mid-range, but now it's just a lot of threes and layups. So I think it's kind of a different style, obviously, and I think I'm kind of a bigger guard, so I can kind of utilize that. You talk about Indiana State, obviously. Larry Bird is name is synonymous with that place. Much interaction with him? I shook his hand one time. He's a quiet guy, kind of like myself, so he didn't say anything back, but I did shake his hand when we played. They had their 40th anniversary team there, so we got to meet all those guys and shake their hands and stuff. How neat is that, just from a, Yeah, it was kind of gave me goosebumps, because obviously he's an NBA legend, and just for what he's done his whole career. I mean, it was and he's kind of obviously an icon in Terre Haute, so it was cool. Do you go back and watch? Did you watch 30 for 30 Celtics Lakers? Do you know what I mean? Like, did you watch the documentary on the Bulls? I've seen a couple of the Larry and Magic documentaries. Sure. So obviously when we played Michigan State here, I seen a tweet or something that I was the only Indiana State person who could beat Michigan State or something. It was something funny like that. But but all those are good. All those are cool stories of him and Magic, and obviously him being from Indiana State was pretty cool too. Your playing career is winding down. You relishing these practices, the team meals, the hanging out in the hotel, everything kind of just like, is it starting to hit you more and more? Yeah, I think every day. Every day is just going by really in a blink of an eye. You go do your weights every day, your vitamins, and you practice, and then the day's over, and the next day's already there. So I guess I just kind of been just soaking it in, and obviously the finish line's coming up, but like I said, just taking it day by day. How much have you enjoyed having your family? I know they were at the Indiana State games too, but here, how much, the Clay County people, I'd say that's fairly big Tennessee country down there with a lot of orange. A little more proud walking into town. Not that you weren't proud at Indiana State, because I know you were, but is there a different feel going back home right now? Like I said, obviously being 2 hours away, so really anybody can come when they want to. And I said it made the drive for my mom so much easier, because in Terre Haute you got the blizzards in the winter and different things like that. So it may take her 9 hours to get home, like when it was snowing up there. So I think just stuff like that, and obviously getting to see my friends here and there, being close to home, it's obviously a better feeling and just kind of more comfortable. So senior day, coming up, be emotional. You don't seem like an emotional guy, but at the same time, I feel like you're kind of. It's starting to hit you more and more. Yeah, I think I'll be a little emotional. I don't think I'll cry or anything, but I'll kind of it'll really soak in once I walk out there and just know that that's going to be my last time, obviously playing at home in college. So, all right, let's hit rapid fire for a second. Something most people don't know about Tyreke Key. I'm an outdoorsman, so I like to go hiking and walking and riding bikes and stuff.
Where's your favorite hiking spot?
There's a place in it's a little ways from here. I forgot what it's called. It's called the Eagle's Nest. And it's a big thing. You hike up a mountain and you just look. Oh, it's overlooking the mountain. It's beautiful, beautiful.
If you could go to a national park, which one would it be, Mr. Outdoorsman?
Yellowstone.
I went last summer. Have you been before?
I never have.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's pretty spectacular. Share a funny story about your basset hound.
Let's see. There's a lot. I would say I was coming home from practice. He got out of his kennel. I didn't know where he was, and I go into my bathroom, and he's got a box on his head where he was digging in the trash, and he's just standing there in the bathroom just with a box on his head. And I just walk in, he just kind of looks up, and he's got obviously a box on his head. You don't know where he is, so obviously I slide the box off his head, and he's just sitting there trying to play innocent. So,
favorite NBA player?
I'd say right now probably C.J. McCollum.
Wow.
Just the way he kind of handles himself, and he's kind of got the little mid-range game, and I just kind of like the way he plays. So.
What's the best advice you've been given?
I'd say probably you are what you do. It's kind of the reverse of you are what you whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But that phrase, I mean, I think it's just you set out to do what you're best at, whether it's playing basketball or doing this or that. I think obviously you're born with a gift, and you just go out and do it every day and just have fun.
Admittedly, you're a humble guy, but are you the key, that's pun intended, to Tennessee basketball success the next 2 or 3 weeks?
Like I said, humbly, I think if I play my role of what coach wants, if everyone plays their roles as coach wants, I think we'll have a special ending to the year.
But to dive back to that, you feel like your role changed though when he talked to you. Like you felt like your role was different before then.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think I was kind of just overthinking a little bit, just because I was playing a different position and just different things like that. But like I said, when he pulled me to the side and just told me just go out there and do me, I kind of felt a different way about it. And like I said, I think it helped me. So
NCAA tournaments where legends can be made. You're shooting on, in some instances it's an arena, but a lot of instances, especially once you get past the first weekend, you're in stadiums. Yeah. Do you like that? Because, the sight lines change, the depth changes, all that. I know it's the same,
Same height, same all that stuff. I think, I think that kind of goes back to maybe the overthinking part of it when it comes to March Madness and those type of things. I think you just got to go out there and just play your best and compete and just have fun. And like I said, I think we're going to have a special ending to the year. So.
All right. He has a lot of faith. He's playing with a lot of confidence. And in my opinion, if he's not the key, he's one of the keys for Tennessee having success the next few weeks. He is Tyreke Key. We appreciate you joining us on Ball Club Confidential.
Appreciate you having me.